I thought I was going to have a fun September 27th Saturday morning, but what was I tricking myself? We're going to the Metropolitano. What was I expecting?
I'm sitting here with my jersey on. You know what? I got to take this off. We lost. No rocking jerseys when we lose. So this jersey's coming off.
I got the Bayern jersey on, just letting you guys know today's not the day to have the Real jersey on.
Listen, and this is, me. I love all our players. I don't kill them after bad games, bad performances, even bad runs of form. But that was a Fede jersey too. And listen, Fede was a culprit tonight in a lot of, or this afternoon, in a lot of our issues. But Sid, before we get into like tactics and all these different things, which of course matter, and whenever something happens, the easy thing fans want is some one thing to blame, right? It's this or it's that. And as you know, it's never one thing. It's a multitude of things, right? And we'll get into all of that. But at some point, Sid, it comes down to aggressiveness, energy, effort, and will to and want to, right? And just forget about tactics for a second and just straight up duels. How many duels did we win today? Balls on the ground. All right, it's live. Go get it. I feel like that has nothing to do with tactics. That's, do you want this? Yes or no? And I felt like at a game that is such a huge game, El Derby Madrileño, our first big test of the season, to come out with that kind of passivity, I was like, what are we doing? Like, that's just poor.
Yeah, so on that note, we're coming out into the game, and Simeone's Atleti, they were a mixed bag. Many bad games, but some good performances mixed in. And last game, they played a pretty good Deportivo, I believe, and came back, fought hard, played a good win.
Julian had a hat trick.
Right. And so going into this game, I already knew it's going to be a tough Atleti. But with that being said, I think we all thought we could win this game. And Alonso, I think the whole issue just starts with our approach and the very central assumption of whether we could execute the approach from the coach. And I think he thought we could go dominate Atletico. Honestly, we all thought we did, though. The lineup he put out was what LeConte was saying, what I'm saying, what we're all saying. Hey, we can take it to them and actually give it to them. So Alonso's like, you know what? I believe this too. So I'm starting Jude in his first game after the surgery. I am playing our strongest lineup. I'm going to ask our strongest lineup to play with the ball at their feet. We're going to go walk into Atletico's home, dominate them. And that was the approach. And just going through the game, I feel like it was a game of so many weird phases. So kind of breaking down, it didn't all go wrong immediately too, but it did at the same time. It's just so weird.
It was strange. And your microphone's a little hot, so turn your gain down a little bit on your crackling. I think you're right. I think Xabi Alonso had an idea that this is my best 11 as it currently stands with who's available and who's healthy. And I think with these guys, we can dominate possession. Now, I have to imagine Xabi Alonso's smarter about football than I am, than either of us are. I have to imagine he assumed that Simeone and Atleti would come out aggressive on the front foot to start and try to get an early goal, right? It's just what you do at home, right? So that part shouldn't have been a surprise in any possible way. Go ahead.
Well, I guess the first 10 minutes is actually, if you even look at the XG chart, that was the calmest part of the game when we started, when I thought we actually kind of had the ball a little. And their
outside of that first shot that Sorloth probably should have scored on. Yeah.
Yes. So that's where, the first 10 minutes I'm watching and we're keeping the ball where you want to dominate. And then Sorloth, he gets on the end of two chances. My first thoughts are you're all alone, man. You're not fast. You're all alone. I'll take Dean one-on-one with you every day of the week at the back. I'm not scared of you. Then they score with the set piece when they're like, you know what if we send 5 guys next to Sorloth? What are you going to do then? And going into the game, I think that was a big reason Alonso actually wasn't afraid of them. And he's like, you know what? We're going to keep the ball, play with it. Because he's looking at Barrios and Sorloth. He's like, if you guys get a transition chance, you're going to need too many players next to them to finish it off. Sorloth isn't going to be some one-man attack force. So he's like, if you're going to play Sorloth, I'm going to totally crunch you and win all the second balls and win it back. So we camp in their half. We're not scared of their crosses. And then they realize this as this is happening in the first 10 minutes and score their goal. So, and then not only do they score their goal, I think even after the goal, they get a chance where they're sending multiple guys in the box. Sorloth is, of course, in corners. So at that point, I'm already at a loss for words because I'm just like, yo, guys, like, do not give the ball away unless you're close to each other. But at that point, Fede and Chouameni and Courtois, as people are pointing out, they really couldn't stay patient and had to keep kind of booting it or away, or they were too slow. And so by the time the play goes through them, Atleti have like double teamed Vinny on the wing already. There's no place to go. And I thought like around that time in the first 10, 15 minutes, it was becoming obvious that like the game isn't going to go the way we want. And people are pointing out, but a tired Fede giving the ball away, struggling to take touches and chasing the duels in midfield, that's where I thought the game was lost, because our whole strategy was we're going to keep mopping up second balls. Sorloth isn't getting out of your half. And to me, it felt like the team, but once it got past Fede, it felt like they weren't even expecting them to cross it. And it's like, oh shit, like we're not winning the second balls. What do we do? And they didn't retreat to block mode. So I thought that was the big error of the game. What's weird is that we went up 2-1 while that was happening. What are your thoughts there? So what are your thoughts on the response? We go down 1-0. We get our response in without changing the dynamics. Nothing changes tactically. We just go Guler to Mbappe, Vinny one-on-one, and they will keep getting open in any type of game like this.
Yes, because when in those situations we actually do win a ground duel and get the ball and we are in transition, we are still, despite what we saw today and all the other teams in Europe, to me, we are still the most devastating in transition team in world football, like bar none, because of Mbappe, Vinny, Guler, Bellingham bearing down. It's just, we're so good, right? And that's what happened, right? We had two moments where we actually recovered the ball and went at them. And yeah, you can't stop us in those unsettled transition situations. So we go up 2-1. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay, great. But you just said it yourself. Nothing changed regardless about the rest of the game state, right? So Atleti realized, hey, man, just keep crossing the ball into the box because these people have no idea what to do when we cross the ball into the box. And literally, Sid, it was like grade school football. Like, am I marking this guy? Should I jump now? Should I not? Oh, wait, 2-1. It was, we had, on the Sorloth goal, Carreras and Housen were there first. Sorloth, now, to be fair, Sorloth is a big guy. He pushes Carreras away like he was a gnat. And then, well, it's just me and Dean. And he's like, well, I'm bigger and stronger than you. So fine, I'll go up and get it. And he did, right? Like all of their goals were scored off of crosses, set pieces, and then the end, that last giveaway. But no build up, no clean, like domination of possession, carving us up. Just, hey, man, don't you guys know how to mark people and understand, hey, if you don't clear, here's your zone. You got to jump to the ball. Like Chouameni on that Lenormand goal. Lenormand just jumped over the top of him. He didn't even go after up and attack it. And it's like, my guy, how are these guys who are on less energy than you being more aggressive and more and more decisive to every ball, whereas you guys are thinking and unsure what you want to do? So that was disappointing.
And that's exactly why, to me, it's not a question of hunger. I know a lot of people are, but it's because I saw them thinking. I'm a ruminator. I overthink things. Okay. So when I see that on the pitch, like if I see you thinking, I know when you're like not sure what to do. I can smell indecision from a mile away. I did not see lack of hunger. I saw indecision and surprise, because it's like this guy Fede, the number of times he's just behind the guy chasing him and not catching up to him. I'm like, guys, like they are bypassing the second phase. Just retreat to our box and chill. Like I would have went like a little more Carlo ball. Now under Carlo, the team never had a clear idea, so they would just retreat by default maybe, and maybe the damage would have been limited. Under Alonso, things kind of start working. We go up 2-1. Even when they make it 2-2, it's like, hey guys, like a shitty half is 2-2. Like if we just like are able to win a few second balls, let's take control of the game. And I think in some ways the goals kind of paradoxically made it hard to change a lot, because Alonso was looking at this like, guys, just tighten up a little defensively. We can still play.
But they didn't even do that. That's the point. It's like, okay, I'm not going to change. He didn't even tighten up defensively. That's the annoying part. Like, okay, keep what we're doing.
Yes, so that was annoying. And so we go up 2-1, and the last 10 minutes of the half, at that point, I just got a little complacent. I took it for granted we would be able to use their press to just keep scoring like we did. And then that 2-2 was a sign, okay, like somehow, we just went up 2-1, and we still just conceded like 10 corners after that. Like we can't stop them. And yes, the 2-2 was inevitable. We haven't seen anyone attack us early. And then the third goal was also another, cross Guler. Let's talk about that. So it was really funny because the Guler narrative, we saw everything in big games.
You mean on social media today about his performance?
Well, in general, like coming into the game, like we knew there's a possibility the big game lineup is Arda and Jude with Vinny and Mbappe, and then Alonso tries it. And first half, Tchouaméni, Fede, and Jude honestly all looked pretty slow on the ball, especially Fede and Jude. Jude was a big zero, which I think was a big risk. You in a game like this, if you're going to play with the ball, it means Guler and Jude are going to have good games, is what you assume. If the game is not going to allow for that, why would you play them? And I just thought, like, in the first half, Guler was the reason we were in the game. Like, the only midfielder who did anything. It's weird, though, because he's not, like, a Cruz Modric type of press resistant still. He just beats the press all the time.
But he is in that way that when the pressure comes, what he's gotten better at with, again, playing time, because you need to try this stuff on the pitch. When pressure would come, Sid, it was subtle stuff. A little dip of his shoulder, switching the ball to this other foot, and then moving, right? Okay, defender's now behind me in my wake. We can push forward. He was very good today at being press resistant and evading pressure. Extremely good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I was just going to say, you could say maybe it's his best game ever in that regard. And in the first half, we also got the, like, whole don't play him in big games because of duels. Like, the whole team's losing duels anyways. He's the reason we're in it. Duels. Yeah. It's not like, by not keeping him in there, we lose our opportunity to even play those through balls and get those goals. So, but at the same time, like, that third goal, whether it was a penalty or not, that's one thing. So if you watch the game, you know Guler does the high boot. We can give up a goal at the start of the second half, 3-2 penalty. My understanding is high boots are subjective. Like, Guler technically got the ball,
he did.
But like, my understanding is even if you get the ball, it's kind of at the referee's discretion.
And I think also if it hit him in, like, if the boot hit him like in his side or his shoulder, he might have been different. But because it hit him in the head, I think the ref automatically saw head and was like, that's it. Like, he didn't even, like, have to think about it, right? Like, oh, kicked in the head, done, right? Like, even though, no, he didn't kick him in the head, but it was what it was.
Yes, and that's where you see, like, ultimately it was unlucky and unfortunate. Like, there are many scenarios where you make that choice. Maybe the ball moves a little different. The guy's head isn't in your way. But your choice, Guler, to use your leg there and not your head or body is kind of why people were afraid of you in big games in the first place. And I'm not blaming. There's just no way you can blame this on Guler. That's not what I'm doing at all, because he was still our best player on the ball. But it's just, like, funny because you get, like, he keeps us in the game. He's the best player on the ball, but then he loses a duel in the worst possible place in the worst possible way. Even if it's unlucky, it's because he's not a good duel winner that he's in that situation. What do you do? It's just it's a damn shame.
It's unfortunate, right? And yes, look, and Xabi said this all season, is like, look, Arda needs as many touches and minutes as possible, and we're going to, I'm paraphrasing, we're going to have growing pains with him, right? There's going to be times where he makes mistakes and things happen, but I trust and believe in him. And I think in that moment, because he didn't sub him off right after that, right? Like, I think he subbed him off mainly because he'd played the full 90 3 days ago. And we have a match coming up on Tuesday and 8 billion miles away. And so I think he's like, look, I think that's a mistake Xabi's willing to live with. That's a mistake I'm, as a fan, willing to live with. Because, again, to your point, no Guler in the first half. I don't know that we score those 2 goals because nobody else was doing anything on the ball for us. But again, this was a problem last year, Sid. Set pieces, simple things like how to man mark, like it just inability to clear your line, and then nobody knowing. It's like, if the ball, and we'll get to some of the individual performances who were playing poorly. Okay, Carreras has a bad clearance. Okay, when everybody's watching and you see he didn't clear the ball, how is the defense not connected enough to know that ball didn't get out? Everyone lock and mark who they're supposed to mark. Nope, nobody knows where anybody is. Crap, ball goes right. Literally, the Atleti player has forever and a day to sit there. He could have switched feet 5 times before anybody came out to touch him and cross the ball in. Like, it's like training ground. Like, this type of thing is problematic for us. Like, to me, those were training ground errors that I saw. Now, you could look at the glass half full and say, well, training ground errors, meaning we still haven't gotten the system yet. Once we get it, we'll be fine. But that, I just didn't love that we haven't gotten solid at that point yet.
Yeah, and I think the question is like, why didn't Alonso adjust in the second half? Like, fine, I can accept you go up 2-1 and like it's too early at the 38th minute to like make a defensive sub and talk to your team. And then you kind of just want to make it to halftime and huddle. And then, God damn it, they have to equalize before halftime, whatever. At halftime, why aren't you bringing on Franco? Or like, I'm not sure why Jude wasn't taken off earlier, because Jude for me was just a big zero. I think that's where, if we have to go individually,
yeah, he had one really nice possession where he won the ball, advanced it forward, and that got us into maybe one of our scoring chances. I don't think it led to direct goal, or maybe it did when he passed to Vinny and then Vinny passed to Arda. But for the most part, he was not his normal duel winning, and he's not sharp on the ball. But surprise, surprise, the dude hasn't played an actual. I mean, yes, he played earlier this week, but he hasn't played for real in like 3 months. Like, he needs time to like get himself together. Training ground is one thing, but the heat of a derby where, again, and we know Atleti doesn't matter what their form is or what's going on prior to, they come into this match and they are cooking and they are ready, right? And to start Jude in a game like that, to me, I don't think was right. Franco probably would have been better to start in that game. But to that point, Sid, at the start of the second half, it's 0-0 basically, right? 2-2. It's a new game. It's a new game, so you can do something. It wasn't like, oh, we got to protect the lead. Oh, we got to chase. No. It's 0-0, literally.
Oh, that's where I would have at least tried to protect a draw if you know that, like, and I guess Alonso was not seeing the writing on the wall that, like, hey, they're going to keep pressing us. They're going to beat us into submission. I would have tried to set up in a block just with the amount of chances Sorloth was getting, and then Nico Gonzalez, Julian Alvarez, Barrios just getting on the end of everything around him. Surprised he didn't change that. Just a note on Carreras. I know he didn't have a good game. I just feel like that ties into the dynamics of playing an out of like touch Jude, having Fede who's like tired. This was going to add up at some point, the Fede stuff especially. So when like your three midfielders are all slow on their touch, or especially two of the three, Fede for sure, Jude by his standards for sure. Tchouaméni sometimes I feel like he's a little out of the action. Like maybe I don't always feel like it's him as much as Fede. And then Tchouaméni not being a god to make up for Fede,
right.
Like the way Cruz was to make up for Casemiro, and then but I think ultimately the choice to keep playing with the ball and play like a slow circulating style of play when you're losing the duels is risky, and I think Carreras and Dean struggled because of that. Because all these easier teams we play, the pressure they're putting on the ball is less, where these guys can handle a lot of the usage rate. This is the type of game where if you're trying to hide a midfielder, it's a lot harder.
Yeah. Well, it's what we talk about. It's better competition, right? When you play a better look, this worked against Levante and Real Oviedo, right? Like where Dean and Carreras can play, 140 touches. Not against Atleti. It's not going to work. Never mind when we play Liverpool in the Champions League and Barcelona in the Classic. Like, never mind those matches, right? Like, it's just not going to work. And so, I mean, we saw it, Sid. Like, I'm not even going to say like Atleti's press was that awesome, but any little pressures it, and we couldn't complete passes at all. It was like, what? Okay, and it's okay. If that's the case, and we can't build from the back, which we saw, then it was Courtois just bombing the ball down the field, and let's go out and try to win it up there and make something happen. And I
just think the team decided that like we can beat Atleti with the ball at our feet. That's how we're doing it. That's what the coach told us. Let's do it. And I think this is something for Alonso to look at. That like we talked about how you need different flavors of the ice cream. We haven't had to have the deep block yet. Like honestly, like maybe in the Club World Cup, but that's literally like not even the same sport. Like it's a preseason summer tournament. Like we've never had to use a block in a big game. But that being said, like I just feel like the first loss of the season, if you're gonna find out something, you need to find out your limits. You don't find out that you could have played with the ball. No, like you find out, okay, like this is what we can do with the ball. This is what we can't do. Then you go defensive. I would personally, I like the braveness is all I'll say. Like I would prefer to be bold and make a mistake being bold with a new young coach. Like young coaches start playing attacking and are effective. As they get older, they get boring, like Pep and Arteta. They start doing all these Rice, Marino, Zubimendi midfields with Gyökeres up front. But when you're young, you can go for it. And I saw a coach trying to go for it who got totally cooked by the Metropolitano, who didn't realize like, hey, like you just need to coach a block sometimes for this team. And yeah, in a lot of ways, we see why we haven't just walked over this team for 10 years. And under Carlo, the last 4 years, it was a lot of draws. Even under Zidane, it was draws. And people are saying this was our worst game against Atleti. Listen, I was there when Arbeloa and Coentrao and Khedira were playing in February 2015. I was there. That was the worst one.
We've had some bad Atleti losses. Like,
wait, that was the worst one though, right? It was 4-0, and then we've lost I feel like that and this are the two bad ones.
Yeah.
And then the preseason one under Zidane. Listen, it's just a rite of passage. You got to lose to Atletico as a Real Madrid coach. But I'm not defending Xabi's decisions. I think there's a lot of scrutiny on him right now. I just feel like did you expect us to go unbeaten the whole season? I think we could still get a 100-point year. There are possibilities, but did you expect us to not lose a game in the fall and learn from it?
Oh, definitely not. And I think, but I think it's right to have fair criticisms of Xabi Alonso, right? I think, again, to our point, if you saw, because what we love about Xabi is his pragmatism, right? All right, this shit's not working. Let's do something else. Okay, you had 52 minutes because of extra time of data that was showing you this shit ain't working. We had it. It was evident. He saw it, and his whole staff saw it. Why did you not do something different? Are you telling me that you haven't done enough training ground work, that you can't get the team to play in a block in the second half? You can't do that?
Yeah, and I wonder if there was a bit of hubris, or that's where Alonso, we believe in him because he's good at math fundamentally, the math of, are you going to give the ball away too many times with your technical quality to risk putting you on the field? Are you going to deliver enough times mathematically to make the trade-off worth it? And I guess I get it. Coming into the game, I get the math. First half, you score 2, you stay in the game. I get not changing. Halftime, I don't get it. And then I guess we did make the change once we went down 3-2. But I just felt like momentum was gone after that Guler incident. It was it just felt like if at that point, if he changed it to make it 3-3, I'd be like, you're a genius, because it felt really off. And we didn't get back on the ball. I think the only positive saving grace maybe that we did slowly prevent Atleti from accumulating expected threat according to the chart. But with the eye, I don't know if I even saw that. I saw Camavinga constantly turning out of his own box again and again.
I saw us have an inability to possess the ball and do anything in build-up. I saw us have an inability to defend crosses, right, and set pieces. Look, the Julian Alvarez goal, it was what it was, right? The free kick one. You could, I guess you could say, Courtois, you gave him a little bit too much room on that near post. Maybe shade over a step, right? Because he did get his tips on it, right? If he was over one more step, maybe he makes that save. But ultimately, your point is right, Sid, which is, we did nothing in the second half. I don't think we had a shot on target in the second, or a shot period, if I'm not mistaken, in the second half. 2, it was what I talked about last year with this squad and what I said this year. When adversity hits, what is this team going to do? I saw a lot of head hanging and a harumph, oh well, and just giving up. And I'm like, that to me, that part has to be coached out of this squad. I don't know how, but he's got to look, it's easy to do well when things are going well. Even those games we played earlier in the season, we won 2-1, whatever, and everybody in the media was critiquing, but we saw the underlying buildup was there, the expected goals, threats. That was not the case today, right? We had that in the first 6. We played 6 before this, or 7? 6, I think. In the first 6 before this, we had all of that. So it's easy to stay positive after that. Be like, oh no, it's coming. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We had none of that today, not one single iota. So I'll be very curious to see what the message is about from Xabi. And I said this yesterday on the preview show. What does it say about Madrid's ceiling and floor? Right. What I thought was that the way Alonso coaches, our floor would be raised to a certain level. Right. Our ceiling may not be as high, but I think just from a baseline floor level, I thought we'd be a lot better. And to me, that floor level dropped today to a level that I didn't expect, right? I just did not expect it. I was with you. Okay, it got tied 2-2. I figured, okay, no worse than this. Maybe it's 3-3, but we pull a draw out of here. But to just be like, oh, well, 5-2? I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, just leaving Jude on the pitch is what doesn't sit right with me. It just was I'm just not sure what you saw in the first half that convinced you that him staying on the pitch. And I get removing Militao, you're probably worried about the hit he
Injury.
took. Yeah, that was smart. But what did you see from Jude in the first half? Because all the good sequences came from Vinny, Mbappe, and Guler playing together. And I was a bit confused. I would love to hear that from him in the press conference. If what I expect from him in the press conference is to own up for a wrong approach. I don't think he'll blame it on the players. I think so. When we talk about responding to adversity, this is where, like before, our strategy was still some level of hope, and hope is not a strategy, but it won us a Champions League, Jarod. So
it did.
And so, I know it only happens once in 100 times, but part of it was that nobody knew what was going to happen but the players, and not even the coach himself. And I think now it's the difference is like, if the tactics are wrong, the players have committed to executing tactics like employees to some degree. I don't like using that term, but like fundamentally they're trying to be employees to execute a game plan of a greater vision than themselves.
Not they didn't even execute it though. That's the thing. They didn't even execute it, right? Because they didn't win second balls. They didn't. So
yeah. So I guess I'm thinking the convo at halftime must have been, hey, like show Tchouaméni, Fede, Courtois, Jude clips of them circulating and ask them to circulate faster. Maybe it was like, hey, literally take the touch faster, we'll be fine. And it might have been that the team and coach went into the second half thinking, we can still hold the ball, we can have touches, and we can still keep dominating with possession. Because I think that's where Atletico are a little paradoxical with Barrios and Sorloth and the Koke. They're a little more conducive to like playing a game that isn't as reliant on transition, if that makes sense. I think if they needed pure transition, they wouldn't have worked as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why it might have been defensively motivated. He might have been like, listen, like throw that half out the window. Like you miss some shots sometimes. Start over, pretend it didn't happen. Go dominate the ball, walk him over. What I would say is I don't expect him to repeat this mistake, Jarod. I think that's where people are going to panic and be like, oh no, what's going to happen? Listen, now he knows Tchouaméni, Jude, like half-fit Fede and Jude are not bossing anyone in Europe. He's going to play a little more vertically. I would expect the appropriate response to me would have been Franco on 4-4-2 and like stop trying to like wait till they press you and just go for goal. Like just go to Mbappe, bypass Arda, Jude. Don't even do these like cute 3-4 pass sequences to get it to Mbappe. Just get it to Mbappe long. I would have played like a small team, like a scared small team. That's probably the solution.
I got some quotes from Xabi Alonso post game. This is a process. We're in a phase where we're building an identity. We'll get better for sure. We gave the rival too many gifts. We gave them everything, and we didn't compete. We deserve to lose for sure. And I think to me, we didn't compete. I have a problem with that, Sid. Like, not that I'm saying he's wrong. I have a problem with them not competing because I think he's right. Like in this kind of game, again, and I hate to harp on this and beat on it over and over, but tactics aside, how are you not running and winning? It's a duel on the ball, on the ground for the ball. This has nothing to do with tactics. How are you not saying, no, it's my ball, I'm going to beat you there and I'm getting it? That's just effort and want to. And not have that in this kind of game, again, this was shades of last year, right? This is the biggest problem last year. I was like, yeah, we're getting walked over because nobody gives a shit. Only Fede and Jude want to run for everybody else is walking around. Nobody wanted to win duels today. And I'm like, well, we can't win if nobody's winning duels. Like,
I think also up till now in the 7 games, I would argue, I think what was happening was Alonso had induced such a level of buy-in where so many of the duels were taking place in scenarios discussed in training. So when they get there, they're like, okay, guys, this is how it's supposed to go. And so today, when it's not happening that way, instead of retreating, they're like, oh, it's supposed to work this way. Let me just go back to my spot and execute it.
Right.
I personally saw that. And the lack of want, so to speak, I have seen that before in that the momentum goes away. And even today, the momentum's gone. We had no ability to get back in the game because the paradigm we thought would work wasn't working. And so we were out of ideas. Before, there was no paradigm. The paradigm was the players are the ideas. And I think what happens is like, it stands out to me watching Fede sprint back again in the first half. I'm like, you literally expect the ball to be landing in front of you. So you're going and standing in an area in possession where you think that's going to happen. It's not happening again and again. But at this point, you've told yourself, even if it doesn't work, you're going to trust what your coach told you. Right. That's what I saw. And because even Carreras and Dean, when they were struggling, I saw not them struggling to just keep the ball, but actually they thought they could manipulate the block open and it wasn't happening so many times. Like in the second half, Carreras just like there was nowhere to go. He tried spinning the guy and there was still nowhere to go. And he's like, oh, I thought there was supposed to be space opening up. Like I thought we had a thing. And
I think that's the thing. In the 6 previous games, Carreras was able to do that, right? How many times on every post game were we like, oh my God, Carreras, like we'll have man crushes on him. Like he's so deft and slick with the ball. He just drops his shoulder. The defender flies by him. That wasn't happening today. And he didn't know what to do when that didn't happen. Wait, I just dipped my shoulder and turned and he's in my face. Shit, I'm going to lose the ball, right? Barrios picked his pocket. Like for a player, and I'm not saying that Barrios isn't good, but for a player that's so good on the ball like Carreras to have such a poor on-ball game, right? Like that was problematic, right? And again, this is what we talk about when competition levels up, right? And look, and Atleti's far from the best team we're going to play. But to be fair to them, they played well against Liverpool in the Champions League, and it was kind of a shame that they lost that match. Like they actually played extremely well against what many people think is the best team in Europe.
Well,
in Liverpool.
Their XG was pretty bad though, for what it's worth. The underlines were pretty bad, interestingly. But yes, they stayed in the game.
XG is a weird thing, right? Like, I mean, you can have a 0.8 XG and win a match 4-0, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, right? Were they able to maintain? Yes, they were, right? Like, and Van Dijk late header wins it 2-1, right? Like,
well, I think it was 3-2, right?
3-2. 3-2.
Yeah.
But I know it was a late Van Dijk goal. I'm not going to lose my mind or go, oh my God, the season's over. We're not winning anything. Guys, it's freaking September 27th. Like, we got time. But I do think that there are clear areas where we need to improve and get better. And look, this is a wake-up call, right? Like, as we always said, like, and this is part of that adversity thing I was talking about, Sid. Like, adversity doesn't just happen game to game, right? It's like, okay, now we've had a match, right? Where everything that could have gone wrong for the most part went wrong. So now, between now and Tuesday, every paper is going to be like, and every talking head, Madrid's fraudulent, Xabi can't coach big game, right? All of that noise is going to happen now, okay? So now, how are we responding, right? What does the team look like on Tuesday when we go to Kazakhstan? And then what's the match we have on Saturday? Another big test. Valencia, maybe?
Villarreal. Let me pull that up. I believe we do.
Who we play one? I think it's
Villarreal.
That's what I thought.
Gonna be, but at home, but yes, that is a test.
So I'll be very curious how we look if I see like hangover, like then I would start to be like, okay, guys, maybe we should have a little concern now because this is now 3 games in a row that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And we let it one bad loss shake our confidence, shake our trust in whatever. And now we're panicking and now we're not playing well.
I don't think most teams can summon the level of emotional intensity against us that Atletico do, which is the main, just when you're trying to execute positional tactics, like Guardiola would get screwed by Premier League teams his first year for the same reasons. Like this reminded me a lot of I don't know, like watching a game with Joao Cancelo, but when their build-up's not good and they give up goals. Like it felt like that, like a bad Guardiola game. And that's why positional systems have their flaw. Once you commit to that paradigm, and if it goes wrong, the paradigm works better if you try to commit to it no matter what. And so if you don't like switch to a block and transition spontaneously as a team, it can look really stupid, which is kind of what we got today. And this is the big flip and why people criticize it. But with that being said, I think this team still needs the positional approach. And for the short term, what I'm focused on is just health of the guys who mop up second balls and defenders. Like the attackers deliver every game. Like they're good.
They do.
And like even if like they barely got the ball, they got us 2 goals today. But
I do want to mention the attackers really quick. I thought Mbappe, Arda, and Vinny played well up front. I really did. And I thought even, I see a lot of comments, Kylian started walking after he scored his first goal. Like, look, I thought Vinny pressed well today. I thought he, had decent work rate off the ball. Like I don't have too many complaints with the attack. My complaints are from the back, right? From the midfield back, right? From Jude, Fede, Tchouaméni, back to that back line. And by the way, Carvajal and Militao are going to undergo tests tomorrow to see what's happening with them injury-wise. Carvajal's got some pain. So does Militao, which of course is not good because we already have problems on the back line.
Trent and Rudiger out. Yeah, it's a problem. Trent, Rudiger, and Fede, Tchouaméni, Camavinga. Those are like those 2 spots, the right back, the right center back, the holding midfield area. Though if those players continue to either be unavailable or have fit and played because other players are unavailable, the math isn't looking great. We just need a little respite. We need some breathing room, like a win with like we did with the rotations against Levante. That was awesome because we needed it. We will need more of those going forward. And I think it's a big thing is can Camavinga and Jude not get hurt and stay healthy and fit and get like a minute load that makes sense for them, and also rest Fede at the same time. That is the balancing act Alonso has to figure out.
You are asking for a lot, Sid, and I don't even know how that happens. Like literally, I don't even know how the math works. I just don't.
I think it works well if, again, it really comes down to like what's the first game you can rest Fede, because we tried multiple times and the red card screwed us. So it keeps coming back to when's the earliest you can get Fede off the pitch. I think from there everything gets easier. Yeah, Fede is the big bottleneck. And today I was wondering, I'm like, how many games are we going to win with a tired Fede? This almost doesn't feel real. Like it's there. Like you don't win with your role player being too tired to do role player things. What the hell?
This is the last 2 seasons of Fede playing literally every single minute for club and country. This is the result. This is what you see now. So maybe it was last year, Sid, we talked about it. You were like, we're gonna run that guy into the ground. Him and
Rudiger this time last year, yeah. And look where we are.
Like by the time he's 28, the guy's career is gonna be over because all we do is play him full 90s for club and country. And guys, he's not 28 yet. He's 26. This is where we're at, or 27. We're here. This is where we're at now. I will say this: how much? Because as you know, and this is not I'm not saying, oh, woe is us. This is what you sign up for when you play for Real Madrid. Every team that plays us, it is a final, and it is the biggest game of the season for them. Every team, I don't care who it is, Barcelona, Liverpool, every team that plays us, this is the biggest match of the season, and that's what we're gonna get. That's what you sign up when you're part of the best club in the world. How much do you think Kairat right now is licking their lips? Like they're coming to our stadium? Hey, who knows? Maybe the impossible can happen. They were already going to come into this feeling a certain kind of way. Like this is a big. Remember how excited they were when the draw came out? They were jumping for joy when Real Madrid, like when they drew Real Madrid. How much are they going to be that more excited now? Like coming into Tuesday.
It's complicated because like I think they're excited, but they do remind me of like CSKA Moscow, like those long trips to Russia that would end like 7-1. It could. I'm just saying.
You based on what I've seen forget about today, this whole season, I don't see 7-1 anytime soon from this team. I just don't see.
No, I don't think they're there. I think it's because they're still learning to execute offense within defense first strategy. Like 7-1 while only giving the ball away in the areas Alonso allows, that's going to take some time.
Long time.
That's going to take a process, just learning when to accelerate at the perfect moment, being patient till that moment, but like always like getting to that moment where you do accelerate several times a game. That's going to be a whole process.
And these guys are knackered, right? They're exhausted. Like what's the starting 11 going to be on Tuesday?
I don't know. I don't even know if I want to think about that right now.
Carreras? Oh, another full 90 for him.
Carreras looks tired.
Right? Dean?
Well, that's where
oh no, he's out. Red card because of right? Oh no, that was La Liga, not Champions League. He's in.
Carvajal's
out. Carvajal's out.
Yeah. No, that's a problem. Asensio is going to be playing that day, and I think the challenge is those red cards were screwing us as we were winning those games, and the reality is that the fact that we got those points was big because those red cards forced us to overextend Fede and arrive in this part of the season in a off shape. With that being said, the main difference I think between this team's floor and ceiling that we learned today is that like 2013-14 Real Madrid and the three-peat teams were two different forms of greatness. One was a ball dominant form. 2013-14 would go and set up shop, like they would sit off Bayern away. We actually did not play well against Atletico in 2013-14, both games. No. The second game we could have won, and I think they got an equalizer, or we did, but it was 2-2, and we were injured a lot by that second game. It's not like we were in a perfect form, but we didn't look great that year, and we couldn't impose ourselves over every team, but we could win pretty much anything. Like we could beat anyone head to head, and if it really came down to it, yeah, we're going to be able to sit back and hit you in transition. My takeaway today is that we're not replacing Kroos or Modric this season in the big games. That's my takeaway. Like, we're not going to go and walk over a team for half a game because of our skills on the ball. It's going to be from other reasons.
But you know what, though? Like, this is now, come on, enough of this. We don't have Kroos or Modric. That's why. Like, we've even had Kroos now. This is 2 seasons now. We're going on the second season without Kroos. Like, and Modric, right, played a lot of bench role for us last year. Like, so I feel like we have to get over that. Like, first of all, even if we had replacements for them, there is no one-to-one Toni Kroos replacement or one-to-one Luka Modric. It just isn't. Those people don't exist, right? So we have to do what we can with whom we have. And if that kind of system and setup isn't working for what you have, then you have to figure something else out, right? Something different has to be done.
No, I agree. I just think I think the season was always going to be a process of finding out what that ideal system is and discovery. And discovery means losing and finding out on the margins. Now, are we going to chill, try to find out if we can be the three-peat team a little more? Maybe, especially because like the talent is so absurd. Like Alonso's looking at this like, okay, that's the Metropolitano game of the season done. Like that's it. We're never going back there. All the other teams have to go back there. If we play a team that tries to do what they did with 30% less intensity and we learn some lessons, and I wouldn't be shocked if he's like, I want to try again. Like I wouldn't be shocked if he's like, hey Dean, it's been 2 months. Hey Fede, like I rested you. You better move the ball with one touch this time. Like it might be something he tries again. I think experimentation is just essential. And
Of course.
the problem is this, Jarod. It's because like I think we can be like the three-peat team in 90 to 95% of games, and it's going to hurt to find out that we can't in those few games. It's going to hurt, and we're going to have to sit off. And I just don't know if also the second thing I'll say is this. I think it's something you kind of want to leave in your bag more for the second half of the season. Like people think you're going to set up with the Jude and a slow team. Then you come out with your 4-5-1 and you just hit him in transition in March. It might be something he holds off on. And again, this kind of goes back to how Carlo approached it when he was here in 13-14 with Bale and Alonso here. Like he tried playing some expansive stuff, but by the end, we had a very good transition offense for the big games. And that's what we went to every time.
I think, yeah, and I totally hear what you're saying. I think one of the problems with being a Real Madrid fan, someone who covers the team, whatever, because of this club's glorious and pristine history, it's always about, ooh, this is like our version of the 3P team, or the. And to me, I'm much more pragmatic than that, right? Like I don't even like the idea of, oh, can this team defend and go back to back? Like each season is its own thing. Yes, Real Madrid may have won 3 consecutive Champions Leagues, and the spine of that team was the same with who our attacking trio was and all that. But each season presented its own level of challenges and difficulties, right? And so how the team would win certain things or come out of certain matches was always different, right? Because each season is a different way. Like you're different opponents, different injuries at different times. So for me, it's like, okay, this is the roster that we have. When ain't no new signings coming, maybe someone from Castilla, I doubt it, but whatever, right? This is it. Who we see is who we have. What I want to, and I think this is what, to your point, experimentation, Xabi's got to figure out in these different scenarios, what do I know my guys can do? Okay, maybe after today, although I don't think he said that, but maybe it's Tchouaméni and Fede alone are not enough to be press resistant. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe that's something he's saying, right? Or he's saying, I'm going to give it one more shot in a game, to your point, Sid, against a team that's maybe 30% less aggressive than Atleti is, and see how they do. But another big game, right? So maybe it's a Champions League fixture, right? Against, not Liverpool, but someone that's that next rung up. And if they struggle again, okay, we're done. We're never doing that again because you guys can't do that, right? Like, I'm hoping that this is what we're doing, and we're not worrying about, can we look like this team? Can we have this?
I don't think they're looking at which team. I think fundamentally the reason they're trying to be more like the 3P team is because if you can do it with the ball, the ceiling is higher. This is reality.
Of course.
And so not only that, I think Alonso already knows these players can do what that 13-14 team did. Like he knows the transition setup works, but in the modern game, I think he's more interested in developing this curveball that may not play to everyone's strengths, but could be the difference between 30 minutes of respite in a certain matchup that allow us to breathe. Because defending in a block for the whole game is exhausting in its own way and different. And you don't want very good players on the ball like we have doing that unless it really makes sense in the right matchups. Otherwise,
unless it was City in the semifinal, second leg of the semifinal to Etihad, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I do expect stubbornness to show that we have that curveball that we can play slower. Because ultimately, like if you look at the total talent and the metrics of everyone on the team before they were signed while they're here, man, I'm probably trying what Xabi did today. That's why I'm just biased towards saying, like, if I'm playing FIFA and I see these players with their ratings, I'm trying to keep the ball, man. I'm not giving the ball away. Like, and I'm just hoping that in a big rival matchup, like when we play Atleti again or Barcelona, I hope he's just quicker to pull the trigger in the biggest games. That's all it is. Like pull trigger, go block. To be honest, this all sounds like so much pain, but the first defeat of the season is always painful. Learning from your first mistake is always going to feel like a lot more of a chore. Then the second time you get back to the same situation, you're like, oh, I've been there, done that. I could not have learned this without making the mistake, right?
And I think it's the score line too that I think has everybody upset, right? Like 5-2 just doesn't look nice. Like it just no matter how it just doesn't, right? Like it was 2-2 at half. We literally got beat 3-0 in the second half. Like, right? Like,
yeah.
That just doesn't look cute. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah. 3-0 and no adjustments. Yeah, it was bad.
And no adjustments. And we didn't even get a shot off. Like that's just piss poor. And so look, I'm not jumping off the bridge like, oh my God, it's over. Like, no. This is all learning. Xabi's a smart guy. He is a pragmatic guy. We talk about this. He's always in the lab, always cooking. He's also ultra competitive. You know, this shit is eating him up right now, and he is burning up right now. We were losing it at 23-24 as well when we lost with Letty and got on to win the double.
We only lost that game 3-1, but that game was pretty much the same type of idea that like once we went down 3-1, the game was over. No real semblance of hope, no semblance of coming back. All that was never happening. So it's the same genre of Atletico defeat.
But again, this is why I caution fans to stop worrying about the past. Don't assume that, just like it was 2 years ago, we won the double. Don't make, we'll win the double this year. Like, listen, do I think we'll have a shot to compete for the league? Obviously, we're atop the league right now. For now, do I think we have a shot to win the Champions League? I think we always have a shot to win the Champions League. But this idea that we did it, like you have to eliminate. It's like that quote I think about the stock market. Past performances are not indicative of future results, right? Like that was 2 seasons ago under a different manager with a different team. Like forget that. Examine it now for what it was for this season and for now. It is something that must be learned from. Period. Point blank. End of story. And I hope it does. We won't know yet until the season progresses.
The underlying numbers are still up across the board. Well, this game kind of neutralizes that a little, but they are up across the board on the last couple years, or maybe even 3, or I don't know. They are up across the board. So strength is getting better, but like all that is with the caveats of red cards, players being tired. So there's a lot to navigate and a lot to learn.
And also, Sid, like despite whether it's narrative or it doesn't matter, right? Because as you know, perception is reality. And so until not only Xabi Alonso, but Madrid, until they both win a quote unquote big game, this is going to dog them for a while, right? In that Xabi can't win big games. Madrid still has trouble against actual good teams, right? That is going to be the narrative, whether we like it or not, whether it's true or not. It doesn't matter. That's what's going to be said ad nauseum by the most powerful voices in football punditry, right? That's just what is going to happen. So, and what's not going to help us is if we further give them proof. Like Clasico comes around and we end up losing that one 3-0, or we have a Champions League match. It's we're not helping our cause, right? So regardless of anything, we have to, as a unit, bunker down, shut off that outside noise. Okay, fellas, we learned from this. Here's what was horrible. Here are the mistakes I made. Here are the mistakes you made. We all own it. We're going to fix that and move forward and look better as we continue to build, right? Once that happens, it'll be fine. Then the proof is in the pudding, right? The results speak for themselves. But if we continue to beat up on teams we should win and struggle in big games, it's going to dog us. And that's just the reality.
Yeah, I think the good thing is the Champions League means there are some good games. I think with the Champions League, the way the seasons are progressing, I do think teams are increasingly going to use the fall to learn, like PSG last year, just kind of getting better as the fall went on. Then the second time they played Arsenal, they still struggled, but they had enough to get over the line against them. Whereas in October, they were played off the pitch. So I do expect more learning curves. I think we're going to learn the lessons, but there's a risk reward element like to experimenting like this. And I think there's a very high reward to finding out your limits in exact situations. You need to know what your parameters are. Alonso got it wrong today, but if you've ever tried anything in life, you got to get things wrong and then try again from scratch. So we'll see how we pick things up.
Also, Sid, as you know, the first time you do something, you're so much better the 100th time you do it. And you're even better the 1,000th time you do it. You're even better the 10,000th time you do it, right?
Well, that's why I'm not like the same shit with Vinny is how I feel about Vinny's growing pains is how I feel about Alonso's mistake today. I'm like, this is all the same thing. It's like you guys are trying to shift to playing in a way you didn't for 4 years, and you need to find out what parts of that shift are feasible and make sense for this team, and what parts of that shift are maybe unrealistic and don't make sense. And that's just, it's going to be a process. And so you want to get to the stage of unconscious competence where like before the game, your team's limits, what dynamics matter for your team in that matchup, and you decide. Alonso's not even there. He's in the still finding out the team's limits, not even sure if the experiment's going to make sense in the game. That's a whole process.
He's also not there as a coach himself. This is only his second senior job in his life. So
yes, with that being said, I do think young coaches are very high ceiling with occasional big floor mistakes, like Guardiola's first season at City. I know he wasn't young then, but a coach with a vision of how to play the game adapted to the modern style is going to take risk reward that looks really dumb, like Pep did. It's gonna look silly sometimes. Hopefully not too much more of this, and hopefully honestly, my big thing is get those midfielders rested. I believe I'm always going to want to play with the ball, Jarod. I'm biased. The 3P team won 3, the 14 team won 1. There's a reason for that.
Listen, if I have a preference, I like playing with the ball, of course.
Yeah,
but yeah. I also like winning, right? At the end of the day, I like winning, period, end of story. And so what is the most pragmatic way with what I have to get the best possible results? And the challenge with, as you're saying, with Vinny and Xabi and the learning is, unlike, there's a saying, right, in that experience or life is the hardest, is the toughest teacher, right? Because it gives you the test first and the lesson second, right? Well, that's the same thing of sports. You don't have an opportunity to, let me experiment with this in a lab and see if it works. No, there is no lab. The lab is an actual game with wins and losses and draws. So if you lose, that's the lesson. Shit. And unfortunately, you drop points. That's just how it goes. There is no way to tinker, because training ground, as much as that's not.
Wait, you don't test your lineups on FIFA and 2K before the game? That's what Durant says he does at LeBron. You don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Right? This isn't FIFA or NBA 2K. No, I have to see it in live action. And the problem is, in live action, there are real stakes: wins, losses, draws. And that's just how it is.
Hey, I do want to say the 2K tests are more translatable to real life than the FC ones. The FC, I don't know what they did. That's not a video game. That's not physics. That's not football. That's like anti-gravity football, where the ball just flies wherever it wants when the game needs a goal to keep you engaged.
It's just the nature of this, right?
Yeah.
It's just how life works. So look, Madridistas, I know you're all upset that we're upset too. This is not how we thought this match was going to go, but it did. The hope is that you believe in this project and this coach enough and these players, they have okay, we learned a valuable, not one lesson, we learned valuable lessons, plural, today about what we can and can't do. There's some actual real physical things we need, i.e. Jude is not match fit enough, Fede needs rest, that we have to overcome and fix and get better. And we have time, right? Look, it'd be one thing if this was, February and we're fighting for the league and shit. Now we drop this and we're screwed now, right? It's September. We won all the games we should have. Yes, this is a tough one. It would have been better to at least come out with points. So dropping points is huge, but all is not lost.
Yeah. And it was on Alonso today. I would please don't play Jude, or just don't play guys in big games coming off injuries. It was like when Zidane played Bale in a Clasico that we lost after an injury. It's dude, what do you expect? This guy has he takes 10 games to get back in shape every time. You started him in El Clasico, and that was when that game actually was the end of Bale under Zidane. If you remember, it was just Isco from there on out. And obviously, it won't be like that today. And I guess I'm most curious to see how much PTSD Alonso gets from this game. Does he go get really scared and try to fix all the parameters here on out, or does he be I just fucked up, didn't get them in shape to defend crosses, goes and works on defending crosses all game? Maybe we try the same thing and we defend crosses better next time. There's a lot of paths we can go. Well, it's not one or the other.
That's a few ways the funny thing, Sid. If this team was better at defending crosses and played the exact same way,
could have had a result. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the thing about there's so many areas of where, and again, because Xabi Alonso is trying to do a full makeover, it takes time. Look, we are on this show and we are no lovers of Luis Enrique, but one of the things that he said during Club World Cup that was important, and I thought poignant, after the 4-0, he said, this is year 2+ of me and this project. Xabi's in month 1. It's going to take time. And I know fans don't want to hear that.
And what Company said, did you hear what Company said? He said, no, this is my second year on the team. Now everyone knows where to go and where to play. And now we can actually focus on the details. And everything is much more fine-tuned because they already know the starting fundamentals of their position, so we can get to the details. And I think that's why I'm optimistic, because I'm like, you actually can't train every style in a team. It's just not possible. You can't. Well, Alonso is one of the closest we've got to that we've seen, and that's why I'm confident. It's because like ultimately, I think Alonso knows an ideal team of his is going to be able to switch between a block and a positional system, like literally with the snap of a finger. That's his dream. That would be my dream as a Real Madrid fan, as a player who's seen the evolution of the game and people telling us what we need to do to win. I think both is the way. And ultimately, I mean, we've seen like when we lost 7-3 to Atletico under Zidane, I know it was preseason, but they fixed it. Like that was a catalyst, like Conte pointed out in our chat. That 7-3 wasn't just a loss. That was the, for that season, literally, along with the loss to PSG in the fall early in that season. So, yeah, I'm thinking this will be a catalyst, but the extent is what will be interesting. Does he go like imposter syndrome? I'm taking responsibility. I'm never putting you guys on the spot again. Or is he going to approach it more like a tinkerer in the fall and then put his competitor hat on in the spring, which I'm curious.
And also something that Conte mentioned, I love that you went there in terms of the tinkerer. And the Conte's talked about this. We are also, or Xavi's also, because I think Madrid have a plan on him being a long-term coach here. So who are the right kinds of players that are going to be here with me for the long term and who is not? Right? I think that's part of this too, right? Because we're always walking about profiles fit. Do they fit? Do they fit? Do they fit? Do they fit? Right? Like we think it's very clear that Housen and Carreras and Tchouaméni, we know there's certain people who are lock solid. We know they want them. Others, maybe not so much, right? And we will see how that happens over time and how everything plays out.
Yeah. Well, interesting game. It's just so many narratives. Like, if you hated Alonso, you can latch on. If you don't like Guler, I don't know. Maybe you can point at that goal, but also he carried us. It was a interesting game. And yeah, I think mainly we're going to need a few more. I think the next big one that'll teach us a lot, Villarreal, those games will, but the Clásico will also teach us a lot.
We have two tough games in October. We have, Villarreal is going to be tough regardless because they're Villarreal, and Getafe away. Like, it's just all these games are going to be tough. But we have Juve in the Champions League, and we have Barcelona, the Clásico at the end of the month.
Just to end, apparently Koke said this game will go down in history. Damn.
I mean, listen, the fact
in Atletico history, maybe. Not in football history.
The fact that Koke was able to get an assist and like boss us a bit, it's like, oh, that motherfucker, are we serious?
Yeah, he got to roll the clock back. I know, it was annoying.
And Lecante, I don't know if you remember, Lecante said, I had this weird feeling Griezmann's going to break his scoring streak against us. And sure enough, it fucking happened.
First time in 25 games. Yeah.
It happened.
I will say the one I wasn't surprised about is Barrios. I knew he was going to have a good game before even watching. Like, I just knew, I'm like that's the kind of link-up guy that we're almost looking for in our midfield. And phenomenal player. Congrats, Atleti. You have a guy who lets you go toe-to-toe with the best teams. They always have a couple of guys that you're like, how are they competing? And you're like, oh, they have a few of those guys who are actually not just Atletico players, but good at the game.
The one thing I'll say is that, you mentioned about, hey, Fede, next time when I play you, I want one touch, and we get out of here, right? I will say this. It is really annoying to watch teams like Atleti when we press, how they can easily evade with quick one touches, right? They set up their triangles, boom, 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 out, and they're going, right? Like that too, like when we can't do the same, that drives me insane. And when I say do the same against a team that is even a little bit hungrier, not against Levante and whoever, a team a little hungrier, we can't do it. And that's really annoying. We
did shut out Marseille trying to do that against us. I think if we can stop the other team from doing that to us too, would be nice. That's where, like, after the success of Marseille, I get why he kind of wanted to persist. He's like, just give it one more half. Let's try and just stop him at the halfway line, because Marseille was such a stunning success for a team so early in its development cycle, in my honest opinion. Like, the number of times they were right there to win the ball back every time against a team that wants to play through you and bait you was cool. So it's in there somewhere. But the other thing is, I think growing pains for implementing something like that literally looks like maybe in a 5-game span, you get 2 to 3 good games, you're going to get a bad one. It's just every team is slightly different in terms of dynamics. And the process of figuring out, okay, like, I need to slightly tweak the dynamic to make sure I'm actually effective against this team. That is a whole thing. And yeah, like you said, Fede being tired, like, man, there was just one play where I'm like, it just reminded me of me when I'm out of shape and like trying to do something. I'm just like, dude, I'm dead. You can't, like, you barely see the ball coming at you. And then like when you're trying to control it, your eyes are drooping, like you're exhausted.
Physically tired players, right? Their minds move slower, right? And then the reaction, your body then moves slower. Like everything about Fede right now was just slow. And by the way, it's been this way since the end of last season, right? Like, and again, this is because he plays full 90 for club and country every single time out. And that's got to change. I don't know how or who or what, but it has to change.
I want him to pick up an injury just for the international break. That's an order. If, I don't know who you are. Like, not even an order. That's a mandate from the real deal. If you're listening to this near the club, go tell him. Like, go like spill orange juice on his foot. Like, break the glass nearby and say something happened. I don't know. Like
listen, we said it on the last show. I'm like, I need Madrid to create some kind of fake injury for him and keep him out and keep him in Madrid this international break. I don't care. Figure something out. I don't know. Just do it.
Definitely. And also make sure Carlo calls up Rafinha and like.
Oh yeah. Well, Rafinha's hurt, I think. Last I saw, I think so. I don't think he's playing.
Yes, tomorrow. He is. Him and Joanne are out. But all I know is we need those national team coaches to step up. Good question here. I thought
it is a good question. I was actually going to ask you about Ceballos. Would Ceballos have been a better choice than Bellingham today?
So there's no question that like exactly what Ceballos provided against Levante is kind of what we were missing today in midfield. The 100 passes from that zone at a decent enough speed where the opposition can't keep up. No question. Now, I think though, if you play the Ceballos, I don't think you could have played like, I think what he was worried about is Ceballos, Fede, Tchouaméni, and Guler. That's a very lack of verticality. Mm-hmm. I would have wanted Franco in the lineup if Ceballos is in the lineup, like we did last time, and that means no Guler. I don't think he felt confident about chance creation without Guler. Guler is our chance creator right now, and so put all that together, and I don't think he found a spot for him. He could have a role. Is Ceballos a big game player? I don't know. It's just like ultimately you kind of have to test it out and see. After the evidence of today, you can definitely argue there could be a spot for him in this type of matchup. It's just tricky because there's age, career trajectory. Like, you probably don't want Danny Ceballos to be the one in the Gala 11. But then again, Casemiro wasn't the one people wanted in that 11. He made it in. If that's what it takes, it's what it takes.
And that's what I think. I think we need to get out of this idea of, for a Gala 11, a player like Ceballos can't be in it. Like, who gives a shit? If he complements the other 10, I don't care that his name is Danny Ceballos, right? Like, I think it has to, do they fit well? That's your, does your Gala 11 fit well? That's what it should matter, right? One of the things we love about Xabi is he doesn't care about what your name is on the back of your jersey, right? Like, it's about, do you fit what he wants to do? That should be the Gala 11. And if he thinks Ceballos is going to be a better fit than Fede, or who, then put him in, right? Like, put him in.
I personally think if you throw in Ceballos, you then lean a lot into like ball to feet play. And if the same thing as today happened, you're kind of stuck where you have to make a sub to even change the way you play. But that was the case today too. And yeah, I think you can play Ceballos, but for me, the Franco was the missing one, like in this type of matchup from the beginning. Like, and by the time he came on, momentum was gone, unfortunately. Like, there was no possibility of holding the ball. And Guler was taken off. Mm-hmm. It felt like we weren't sure how we were going to get the ball to their box at that point. And yeah,
so
and I think,
so let's say it's 3-2, right? And momentum's left at that point. But if he subs and keeps Guler on, takes Bellingham off, do we have a chance maybe still? Because Guler's still on the pitch, or you're like, nah, we're still toast.
I just honestly felt like I love you, Jude, but I felt like we didn't have a chance while you were out there today, honestly. So that, if more than anything, it was just like, yeah, why take off a guy who's giving you plus moments? And I'm sure the corner traumatized him like a little bit. He's just like, guys, if we're going to get back in this game, it's because we're going to stop losing duels. So then he's like, how do I stop losing duels? Which is not taking off Jude, right. It's taking off Guler. Yeah. Which I totally get. And that's where, again, it's like, Alonso made mistakes, but he's honest in trying to do math at the end of the day. And at that moment, I'm like, you have to pick your poison, and we're losing every goddamn duel. I get taking Guler off. There's just nothing that was working. Like, you just bring on guys who are going to shove and tackle and hope something changes. That didn't change, but at least something can change in that moment. If you keep Guler on, you don't get enough duel willing, they might just call for your head. You might lose 5-2 anyways, and they might just make more fun of you. Who knows? But well, it's not about being made fun of. It's just you want to bring some warriors onto the pitch, and I think that was the reason. But Jude, I think, was just like, it's just there's games where if his touch is off and he just becomes too much of a role player, and I don't like that. Like he was just a role player out there. Like you're a star.
He's too elite to be. But you did see that he had two sequences today where you're like, he's got that magic's in him, right? He just needs to do that for a full 90, and he's not there yet, right? He's rusty. Like
which were the sequences? I was, let's just say I don't remember the exact ones right now. He disappeared to me.
The one where he got the ball to Vinny and that scored the goal to Arda, right? I think that was one of the one duels that we won. And then he had a play, I want to say in the first half where he spun out of pressure with guy and he just shedded a guy off him just because even though he's slimmed down, he's still bigger than any midfielder that Atleti has and stronger than any of them, right? So he's able to use his physicality, strength, and his touch, keep the ball close to his feet. They couldn't pick his pocket and progress the ball forward, right? I'm like, he still got that in his game, right? Of course. But he's just rusty, man. He just needs to keep playing and doing that. And, he'll be fine. I'm not worried about Jude long-term. I think he needs more time to get himself match fit. But again, this is the problem. There is no lab you can go into to get ready so that now he has to get ready in games with growing pains. That's just the unfortunate reality of professional sports.
Yeah, and honestly, I felt like he was disconnected a bit, like just from the team has a way of winning and playing.
His chemistry's off because he hasn't played with them, so he's off.
Yeah, it felt like it was him and then the other three together, and like he was in spaces like right half space alone, just standing there. Sometimes I'm like, what is this going to do for us? Like even if you get the ball, you're not in the type of form where you can dribble four guys right now. What are we doing? And so I think we've covered all the different mistakes and what needs to happen going forward. It's a lot, but I'll say I'm optimistic, but I don't know if the team ceiling, I don't know what the team ceiling and big game lineup looks like fully yet. I think some level of today's lineup with Jude, Vinny, and Mbappe when they're healthy is what it'll be. But if any one of them isn't 100%, it can look tricky. So, and that's just the theme, health and surviving. It's unfortunate. Like you could play the best fall in the world, but like your season depends on if your starting 11 is healthy in the spring. And it's just going to be navigating these things. That's why coaches are paid money. It's not your best players going and winning the games every week. It's a lot of dealing with this nonsense of like the calendar. It's just all calendar work now.
Yeah. Listen, not only do we have that, you have international break coming up after this next match, next Saturday. Everyone's going to be called up except for Tchouaméni, thank God, because he got a red card, so he's not playing. Cool. Can we keep everybody? Well, here's what I'm hoping today, Sid. I'm hoping De La Fuente saw this Carreras and is like, nah, I'm not calling that guy up. He's not ready. Great. Let Carrera stay home this break because I don't want him going up to Spain either. That would be wonderful. But it's just the real look. We have the rest of the month, as we talked about, Kairat on Tuesday, Villarreal on Saturday, the following Saturday. And then we have two big games next month, Juve in the Champions League and Barcelona. And we'll see, right? And if we are having the same types of issues and well, then we know, okay, we don't have 3 game sample size and it's now end of October. It's another 30 days post, right? Then we can have another, it's like when you talk about like DEFCON levels, right? It's like, okay, now we can ramp it up another DEFCON level. We haven't learned anything and haven't gotten better. We're performing the same. That's a problem, right? But yeah, not time to panic yet.
Yeah. That's a good way to wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like this show, we just got started this year. Please go tell someone, a Real Madrid fan or any football fan in your life who's trying to keep up with Real Madrid. If they watch the games, or maybe they don't watch the games and they kind of want to keep up tactically for games they don't watch, please go let them know about the show. Thank you all for coming and supporting. We will be back on Tuesday or Wednesday whenever we go travel to the other planet to go play that team. the Star Wars
another planet. Literally another planet.
Are we going to take one of those Star Wars ships to go at light speed across?
You know where we're going. We're going to the Hoth system. We're literally going to the Hoth system.
We're literally going to Hoth. That's what it feels
where
like.
We're going.
So it's going to be funny. So we go to Hoth and then we return to Spain and Earth for Villarreal next Saturday. And we do our Friday mailbags and previews, so we're ramping up the volume of shows. We're also recruiting people, bringing them onto the team. If you know any top tacticians who want platforms, talk about Real Madrid, we're moving. So thank you all for tuning in. Please tell your friends. Jarod, any final things you want to tell our viewers?
Nothing. Just enjoy. We thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Please, we read the comments. We'll do more to incorporate you guys into the show as we go forward. Love your chatter in the comment section. Keep it up, guys.